Hey, what's up? Did you know that there's like a lingo, almost like another language when it comes to craps? I'm going to teach you some of the phrases right now. Here we go. Welcome to the Holy Roller. If you're a craps and or cruising enthusiast, then you're in the right place. Today I'm going to show you more about the game of craps on a cruise so we can play in such a way to potentially increase our bankrolls and get that offer for a complimentary stateroom for two on our next cruise. Yes, a free cruise offer. Remember, holy means different, distinct, and devoted, and that's how we roll. So let's get rolling. Hey, what's up, everybody? Want to hear about some words that you might not have heard before, but you hear them at a craps table? I'll tell you what they are right now. Here we go. So we're going to talk about some lingo, and mainly we're going to talk about bets right now. And so there are certain bets, and so I want to talk about that. I've been at the craps table a lot, and I've seen people say certain phrases, but they hear certain words, and then they ask, "What's that? What's that?" Well, let's talk about the basic pass line bet. And so you have a pass line bet, and then you have a bet back here that's called odds. A lot of times people are like, what are odds? What are odds? Basically, right here, when you're talking about the pass line bet, they're going to roll a number, and say they roll an 8, then this would go to an 8, and in order to pass, you have to roll an 8 before a 7. That is a pass line bet. Now, when you bet this line right here, you don't know what the point is. So you don't know what the odds are of them actually hitting that number. There are more ways to make a 6 and 8 than there are to make a 4 and 10. So the odds are higher. I should say they pay out better on a 4 and 10. And they pay out lower, meaning what you bet. If you bet 12, you get 14. But if you bet 10, you get 18. But what about the odds here? So let's say 8 rolls, and that becomes the point. Now I know what the point is, and I know the odds of hitting that is higher than the 4 and 10. So I might put odds right here because I'm betting on the 8 before I knew it was an 8. Now I'm betting on the 8 when I know it's an 8, and then this pays back here. So a lot of times people say, hey, what do you have your odds? Put your odds, and they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? So here's odds. They also call this shoes. Like, hey, you're missing your shoes, and I guess that's just like shoes to go with your bet instead of barefooted. That would be barefooted. And so that's one of the bets there. And so let's talk about that. There is the pass line bet, and then there's also this one right here. When this puck is off, just in case you didn't know, when this puck is off, this wins on 7 and 11. And then when the point is established, let's say we roll a 9, now this loses on 7. So the 7 has the highest probability of rolling, meaning that it has 6 different ways that a 7 can be rolled. And so right here you have the advantage for the 7 to be rolled. And then once there's a point established, now you're at the disadvantage. Well, there's also another bet called the don't pass, meaning that I believe right here, I don't know what the point is, but I believe that you are going to be rolling a 7 before whatever point you get. So even if it is a high probability, let's say a point rolls out and it's an 8, I'm now at the place where I don't want you to roll an 8. Don't pass by rolling an 8. This says I will roll a 7. So on this one, if you roll an 8 before a 7, you get your money there. And on this one, if you roll a 7 before you roll an 8, you get paid your money there. Now on this one, when the puck is off, it wins on a 2 and 3, loses on a 7, 11, and a bar or a push on a 12. This one actually loses on a 2, 3, and 12, but you have a high odds of 7 and 11 to actually hit when the puck is off. Here, you have two numbers, the 2 and the 3. So the 1, 1 and the 1, 2 would actually double this when that is off. Here, a 7 or 11 would double this when that is off. And then once that turns on, both this bet and this bet was determined on whether the 6, because the 6 is on, either the 6 rolls and this gets paid, or the 7 rolls, and then this gets paid. If the 7 rolls before the 6, this wins. If the 6 rolls before the 7, then this wins. Now, keep in mind, you do not have to bet either one of these bets unless you're the one rolling the dice. So if you are not rolling the dice, you don't have to necessarily bet this. All right, what about placing other bets? Let's say you have a bet that is a 6 and an 8. Let's put up a 5, and the 6 and 8 have to be multiple of 6. So on a $10 table, the minimum will be $12. So you have a $12, and let's just put another $10 on there. So this would be called inside numbers. So if this was 10, 20, 30, 40, $4, this would be 44 inside. If you were going to place a bet and you said, give me 44 inside, whenever you place the money, you're not the one that's actually placing it on the numbers. The dealer that's there is placing it on the numbers. A good place to place your money is right on the line here. So it's not in the come and it's not in the field. It's on the line. They will always ask you what this is before they let the dice roll. And so I think that's important to know, because sometimes people will do this. And if you do put money here, there's a come bet. We'll talk about that in a minute. So put your money here, say 44 inside. You can also, if you're doing 44 inside, you could give them 50 and say 44 inside. So 44 inside. Maybe you want 40 outside. Give me $40 on the outside. You know, a lot of times you'll see a lot of people betting the 6 and 8 only, and so they'll just say 6 and 8, 6 and 8. And so when they put out their money, $24, or even put out a 25, and they'll say 6 and 8. And when they put it there and say 6 and 8, they're hoping for the 6 and 8 to roll. There are 5 ways to make a 6 and 5 ways to make an 8. And there's only 6 ways to make a 7. So the combination of these is 10 ways to roll the dice instead of 6 ways for the 7. So if you have both of these covered, chances are the 6 and 8 would probably roll before a 7, but there's no guarantee. Of course, it's a roll of the dice. All right, let's talk about when you do win and it's time for the payout. And so say a 6 rolls, and since a 6 rolled, they're going to pay you $14 on the 6. And you may hear somebody say, same bet. Same bet means just give me my money. I don't want to do just same bet. I want to leave that there with the same bet. I don't want to do anything with this money. I want to just collect it. So a lot of times you'll hear people say collect, or give me my money, or whatever. But the term same bet means that they're just going to give you your money and they'll hand it off to you. Same bet. A good rule of thumb is to know what you're going to do before it actually happens, because the game moves so quickly that I know that if the 6 and 8 are going to hit, and if it hits, I know I'm going to say same bet. And then they'll just give me my money. They may say, because it's $14, they may say, give me $1. And so what they'll do is they want $1, and they'll say, give me $1. You give them $1, and instead of 14, they'll give you 15 because the change. So they're asking for the $1 up front so they can give you $15. So know that may happen. All right, let's say you get a $14 payout, and instead of a same bet, you actually want to put this money on something else. So know that before the 6 and 8 comes. When the 6 and 8 comes, I know I'm going to place the 5. So to place the 5, you would tell them right when it hits, you will say, place the 5, and they'll put $10 on the 5, give you the other 4. Now, if they asked you for $1 and they were giving you 15, then you might want to say place the 5 for 10, or you could say place the 5 for 15. And they'll know exactly what you mean when it's placing the 5. Now, let's say the 6 and 8 hit and you want to do what's called press. Press can be interpreted a couple different ways, but most of the time what a press means is to take your earnings of $14 and press, meaning take it up with the rest of the money that's there, and it will be $24 would be what's called a press or a full press, and then they'll give you their $2 change. So if you want to press it, there's another term with this $14. You can say press 1 unit on the 6. And what they will do is with the 6 hits and they're giving you $14 and you say press 1 unit, then they will put $6 and take this 1 unit up, meaning they're going to add 1 red and 1 white to it, and then they'll give you the difference that you can have. You can also say, with that same scenario, say the 8 hits and you say press 1 unit on the 6 and 8. Then what they will do is they'll take 1 unit each on the 6 and 8 and they'll press it up just like that to $18 each and give you the $2. Now there's another thing that you can do, and that is on a $12 bet, you can say it instead of 14, if you throw in $4, or if you throw in $5, you can take it to 30, just like this, where after the hit happens, let's say a 6 hits, and right when the 6 hits, you say take me to 30, then what they're going to do is they're going to give you $1 change, and then they're going to put all of the money on the 6, which is $30. Now another thing I see people do is they have their bets all the way across, and they may have a point in time where they want to turn off their bets, or they say take me down or turn me off. And I think a lot of times people don't know the difference of that. If you say turn me off, then what they're going to do in the middle of the game, let's say the point was 10 and somebody was rolling and you just have this feeling, or you made enough money and you want to just wait for the 7 to come because you know it might have come eventually, and you just might want to just keep that money safe, you can say turn me off. And if you say, excuse me, to this dealer, excuse me, can you turn me off please? What they'll do is they'll place an off button on one of your bets that actually includes all your bets. Okay? Now you can also say take me down. So I've seen people not know the difference of this, and they mean turn me off, but what they say is take me down, and take me down means that they're going to grab all of the money in the middle of the roll like this and hand it back to you. And it'll slow down the game a little bit. So it's better just to say, hey, turn me off. And sometimes people will say, turn me off for 2 rolls, or turn me off, I'll let you know when I want back on. And you can say, turn me off, leave me off until the puck goes off. Meaning that either a 10 would roll or a 7 would roll, and then it would turn off. Now it's important to know that if you have a pass line bet with odds and a field and you say turn me off, these bets are still working. Also, if you have a hard way, say this was a hard 10 that we were hoping for, and you had a hard 10, if you said turn me off, you would have to make sure to say and leave me on the hard 10. Or they may turn you off as well on both of them. So it's important to know that these bets still work, and you can say, I'm going to just take this down, and this bet I could pick up. Once you place a pass line, you cannot pick it up. The other thing that's good to know about a don't pass, if you were on a don't pass bet, you can pick that one up at any time. So let's say the puck was off, and we know it's a high probability of an 8. We roll and get past the 7 here, the 7 and 11, and it becomes an 8. But 8s have been rolling all night, and you know that person will probably just roll an 8 back to back. You can pick this up and save that money. And the opposite for this one here, if you're on this line and you say, I believe they're going to pass, I don't know what the point will be, and then it ends up being a 10, which there's only 3 ways to roll a 10. Well, with only 3 ways to roll, man, that's not good odds. I wish I can pick this up, but no, you can't. And sometimes you could say, you know what, on a 10, I'm not going to do any odds here because I'll just take even money if it hits, or I'm going to lose here. All right, let's talk about the horn bet. There is a bet or a horn. A lot of people don't know what the horn is. What is the horn bet? And there's what's called horn numbers, which is a 2, 3, 11, and 12. And you'll see those over here, 2, 3, 11, and 12. This mat actually has 2 of the 11s, just one for this side, one for this side. Many times you'll see a square here, and it will say horn bet on it. Now, a minimum horn bet is $4, because if you do a horn bet, and sometimes if they don't have the word horn there, they're going to put it right in the middle of all of these. And what it is it's $1 on each of those 4 numbers. That's why it's a $4 minimum. And many times people will say horn bet, and it'll be a $4 bet. And then sometimes people will say a horn bet and 5. And a horn bet with 5 is essentially $1.25 on each of the numbers, $1.25 on each of those numbers. Now you can also do a horn high yo, which means you would be betting a horn high yo. They would probably have it kind of over here on the side of, if it had a horn, they would have it on the corner, because what that would be is it's taking $5, and so you have $5, and what it's doing is it's taking that extra money, horn bet, right? But high on the yo, meaning it's going to have $2 on the yo. You could do a horn high ace deuce. You could do a horn high aces. You could do a horn high midnight or 12 or 2 or, you know, whatever you want. When you say horn high with $5, the extra dollar is going whatever you say, horn high yo. And that goes the same if you were to say with 25 horn high yo, then it would be a bet of $5 on each, but $10 on the horn and the high yo. $25, but high on the yo. Now, something very interesting about the pass line is this loses on 2, 3, and 12. You can back up this bet by doing a couple different bets. If you took $3 and bet $1 on each of these are the numbers that would lose if this hits. So if a 12 hit, you would lose this bet. If a 3 or 2 hit, you would lose this bet. So for $3, you can insure this bet here. And if a 12 rolls and you lose this, you would actually win $30 for this one. You would lose these bets, and then it would be 30 for 1. So they would give you $30 for your 1. This bet right here with $3 is also known like this. They will put it somewhere like that, and it includes all of those. And so you could say 3-way craps with $3. Now there's also on some tables some circles with a C, E, and H in it. Some have just a C and an E. You can see that picture right there right now. A C and an E, and each one of those represents a person's spot on the table. But a C means craps, so a C would cover your 2, 3, and 12. And the E stands for 11, and that would cover the 11. And the way to think about it is however many red units do a crap check for white units. So $10 pass line bet and a $2 crap check on that C, and you could say crap check for 2. A crap check for 2 would pay 14. If you lost this, if a 2, 3, or 12 rolled, you would get paid, even though you would lose the 10, you would get paid 14, and you could put back the 10, and then this bet would stay. Now, if a 7 rolled, you would get paid your 10, but you would lose on this side. If 11 rolled, same thing. While this puck is off, if an 11 rolled, then you would get paid here and lose this bet. one of the bets that I like to do if I'm rolling or if I'm on the pass line, I will do a horn, high, ace, deuce. So horn, high, ace, deuce would put $5 out, but it would put $1 here, $1 here, $1 here, and $2 on the ace deuce. If the 11 hits, I would win here and I would win here. Now, if the 12 hits, I would lose here and I would win here. If the 2 hits, I would lose all of these and here, but I would win there. And if the 3 hits, because the 3 is 15 to 1 and the 2 is 30 to 1 and the midnight or the 12 is 30 to 1, this $2 makes this 30 to 1, where any of one of those craps numbers would pay out $30. Of course, remember, they'll take out the difference and leave up the rest, and so you probably won't get $30. Remember, it's 30 for your 1. There's also what's called hopping bets, or you may see somebody throw in some money and they'll say something like, hop the 5s. And so there's sometimes written up here, and sometimes it's not written, but they'll still do the bet at the casino. And there are 2 ways that you'll see a 5. And so when a 5 comes, it's either going to be in a 4-1 5, or it's going to be in a 2-3 5. Even though there's 4 combinations, meaning 2-3 or 3-2 or a 4-1 or and so let me find that 4. The 4-1 or the 1-4, even though it comes in those 4 combinations, you're only going to see it 2 ways. It pays 15 for 1, and all you're going to need is $1 to cover it this way and $1 to cover it the other way. And so then this would pay $15 if it came that way. This would pay $15 if it came that way. And so keep in mind, you may hear the term hop the 5s, and they'll throw some money out. That's what those bets are, and that's what they mean. If you were going to hop the 4s, 4 or 10, if you're going to hop the 4s, there's only 2 different ways that you'll see a 4, the 2-2 and the 1-3. So even though there are 3 ways to make a 4, you'll only see it 2 different ways. Now the 6 and 8 are a little bit different. If you were going to hop the 6 and 8, you'll want to hop those in 3 different ways, because that's how many ways you'll see it. So if you want to hop the 6s, make sure to throw out $3. And if you're going to hop the 7, you can actually do that 3 ways as well. Throw out $3 to hop the 7. Although I recommend that if the puck is on, that you don't use the word hop the 7 in front of everybody. In fact, you can even say to the stick man if you're close to them, or you can just say hop big red. Hopping big red means you're going to cover all 3 combinations that you would see the big red. Many times people will throw 1 in, and instead of saying hop the 9, because the hopping the 9, there's 2 different ways the 9 would come, they would say 5-4, which means that they're actually betting that the dice will come out at hop 5-4. Now, but this is a 1-roll bet, much like the field. It's either going to happen on that roll or it's not going to happen on that roll. And so a lot of times, even with the 7 or with big red, the puck is on, with big red, what they'll do is they'll say 4-3. And if they say 4-3 and throw $1 in, then they'll know that that's hopping the 4-3, meaning that it's only going to count and pay off if it hits a 4-3. They might say hop the 6-1, or they may say hop the 5-2. But because everybody at the table would know that you are hopping when you say 5-2, they'll do the math pretty quick. It may be better to just throw in $3 and say hop big red. You'll also see any 7 or 7. Most of the time it's 4 for 1. And the hopping for $3 is better payout than if you were to just put 5 on the 4 for 1 or whatever it is. So it's better just to hop big red. If you do $6 and say hop big red, 2 each. That would be $2 on each of the combinations. Okay, let's talk about the come bet and the don't come bet. You heard about the pass line and the don't pass line, or the don't pass bar. It's actually pass or don't pass that these are. And then this one is the come and the don't come. So what this bet is it's a bet in the middle of the game. And so the puck is on, and say the puck is on and the point is 9, and remember, when you put your bet on the line here, they'll ask you, what is that bet? It's not a filled bet. It's not a come bet. So what is that bet? And when you put it here, they'd say, what is that? And you say, put me up on the 4, or place the 4. And here, you can say, right there in the come area, you can just say, come bet. When you put it out, come bet. And they'll say $10 coming, which means the next number that rolls, and let's see what it is. The next number is a 9. Even though that's a winner 9, this would move to the 9. So much like the puck moves, the money moves instead, and you would have to roll a 9 before a 7 in order to win that bet. The come bet can't be made when the puck is off, because that's pretty much essentially this bet here. It wins on 7-11, it loses on 2-3-12. So in the middle of the game, if the puck is 9, or the point is 9, and you do a $10 come bet, if you hit 7-11, then the point, a 7-11, you would win, and so you would double your money here on 7-11. If a 2-3-12 roll on that next roll, then you lose that bet. So much like here, if you wanted to back up that bet, you can also do a $2 crap check when you have this out here to cover that bet if you would like. Now when you see the puck off, you're going to notice that the puck is off here, and they put it right here on the don't come place. And this bet and that bet cannot be placed when the puck is off. So you want to wait until the puck is on to place those bets. Let's see what number gets established when we roll here. It is a 5, a 4-1-5, and so then the puck would go to a 5. Now I have to roll a 5 before a 7 in order to win or to pass. But now I could do a come bet. And when I do a come bet and roll again, and it's an 8, now instead of the puck traveling, the money travels to 8. And here I have to roll a 5 to win if I have a pass line bet, or this bet here. But here I have to roll an 8 before a 7 in order to win that bet. If I was to roll an 8, then it would get paid back in the come 1-to-1. So imagine a 9 here, placing the 9, would pay 14. But if a 9 rolled here, and we just had a 9 roll, and it came here, then I would have to roll another 9. And if I rolled another 9, then it would get paid like that, single, not the 14. Now you can also do odds on these numbers, that if a 9 rolled and it traveled to 9, then I can put odds on that, and they'll put it offset like that, which means that I would win, just like if it was bet here, I would win even money here, and then $14 for that bet on the odds. Now let's talk about the don't come. While the puck is on, I can make a bet here. It loses on 7-11, just like when it's over here when the puck is off, and it wins on 2 and 3, just like it does over here when the puck is off. But this bet you can make when the puck is on, and just like the come, you can make a bet here when the puck is on. Now you would never see a scenario where, and you shouldn't see a scenario where you have both this one and this one played at the same time, because that would be just like playing both of these, and they're just going to be a wash. And also, if you have both of them playing at the same time, and a 9 rolls, one's going to go for the 9. Sorry, this one will go behind and say no 9. This one will say you need a 9. So you'll either win this one or lose this one, and so it's pretty much a wash. So if you're going to play the come or the don't come, make sure to choose which one you're going to do. And if you do the don't come and a number rolls and it's a 3, then you win double your money, and you could just rack it and leave it there again. See what rolls again, and if an 11 comes, then you lose this one here, and so you can put another one out, and if it rolls again and it's a 6, then this will travel behind the 6, and in order to win, you need to roll a 7 before a 6 on this one. Now, something that's really unique about the don't come versus the come is when you're on the come and a 6 rolls, it's going to travel to a 6. You don't have a choice, and it's a contract bet just like the pass line, so you cannot pick it up or turn it off. It's always working. Even if the puck is off, that 6 is working. If a 7 comes during the puck is off, you would win if you had a bet on the pass line, but you would lose if you hit the 6 because this is you would lose if you hit the 7 because the 6 is always working. If you have a come out 6 or a come out 4, then the puck goes on and you're still looking for that 6 to come. If the 6 did roll just a second ago, if it was a 6, then you would have won this bet and the puck is on and the game starts again. Now, something that's very unique about the don't pass while the puck is on, that if you roll a don't pass and it becomes a 10 and it moves to the 10, then you need a 7 to roll before the 10. Now, imagine if it was a 6 and say the point is 8 and this was a 6, this was here, and you know that there's a high probability of the 6 and 8 rolling, and a 6 rolls and you're right here, you can actually say no action, meaning that you do not want this bet to go behind the 6. Any number that rolls, if you decide, you can say no action, and this bet will not move behind the number. So let's see, if I roll a 3, then I would get paid here. So let's see what I roll next, and it is an 11, and now I lose there. And now I'm going to go again, and it is a 7, and I lose here. And all of these numbers, except for the ones that are off, which is all of these, all those bets are safe because they were off. But any money that was here lost on a 7. If it was here and a 7 rolled, then I would have won right there. So let's try this again with another come bet. If I roll and it becomes a 9, and I just know that 9s have been rolling over and over and over, instead of having this go behind the 9, I can tell the dealer at that moment, no action, and they'll say no action, and then I get another chance to roll and hopefully not hit a 7 or 11, and say a 5 comes, then it will go behind the 5, and then I need to roll and hopefully not hit a 5, and if a 7 comes, that's great because they will pay for the 7, they'll take it over here, then they'll give it to you. Something that's really good is if you do this bet, you could just tell the dealers and they'll say DC action. DC means don't come, and they'll say DC action, and then you can say no action on the 6 and 8, DC no action on the 6 and 8. If you say DC no action on the 6 and 8, if the 6 and 8 rolls, they just won't move that, and you could tell them beforehand. All right, there is another bet that we can talk about, and that is the buy bet or the lay bet. And so most of the time these happen on the 4 and 10, but the lay is pretty much a bet behind the number. Instead of going through the don't come when the puck is on and the next number rolled, it would travel behind there. You can simply lay. Now there is a minimum. Most of the time it's $30, but let's just say $50. You can lay a bet that's called lay the 4, meaning that no 4 will roll. Now this is usually going to cost you $1 for every 25 or 30, because sometimes 30 or 40 is the minimum here. So we're just going to do 50, and it would cost you $2 for that bet. And if a 7 rolls, you win $25, or you win half of what your bet is. So if this was on the 10, you would win half of what your bet is. Now on a 5, 6, and 8, and 9, those are different odds. And so always just ask what the minimum is and what it pays on each number, so that you know when you're doing the lay bet, meaning that this one would say there's I believe that a 7 will roll before a 4, and I'm paying for that bet, then when it pays out, so say it pays out 25, then I'd need another $2 after it pays out the 25, then I would give them $2. So I view it as, hey, this pays 23, but it's really $2 to place that bet. That's called a VIG, or it's pretty much like a tax or a percentage in order to place that bet. And then you have what's called a buy bet. And so a buy bet is actually, most of the time, in most tables, you'll have $15 that you can bet on a number just like this. But when you go up to 20, then it's going to cost you $1 in order to buy this bet, and it moves a little bit behind, and it just pays off better to buy it. The automatic buy meaning is that you will not have a chance to have a $20 unless you buy it. And you might as well go up to $25 if you're going to buy it, because then they'll put a buy on it. And so $25 on the 4 and 10 would pay $50 or $49, because once it pays, you pay 1 to place it back. So that's how that works, and that's called a buy bet. So if you ever see the word buy there, or if you ever see the word lay, that's, at least you know what it means. All right, well, I hope that helped with a little bit of lingo when it comes to doing your bets. Remember, press 1 unit or full press, or turn me off versus take me down. Those are big ones. And that's all I gotta say for this video. Until next time, see ya. Wait, before you go, one more thing. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and become a holy roller with me so I can see you cruising and rolling at a craps table soon. Oh, hey, and check this video out for more tips and tricks on how you can get that offer for a free cruise. Thanks for watching.